Oh, those times when you will go before God and all the things you feel the devil is doing was to accuse you before God. That moment you were in the place of prayer and you felt so much resistance. You felt somebody is stopping all the things you are petitioning God for. You felt there is this force. You felt there is this hand hindering your blessings from coming to you. That moment where you were in the place of prayer and it seemed as if everything you are telling God, there is somebody on the other box opposing every single one of them. At that moment, that is you being accused before God. The devil is trying to bring those claims as he brought about Job, saying, does Job fear you for nothing? Take up all these things away, and then you will know his real state. And that is what the devil does, is the accuser of the brethren. But you need to come to realize what to do exactly. That was what Job was realizing at a point, and he wanted to know exactly what his indictment were. He wanted to know exactly what his accuser have said against him. That time, those remembrance began to come. What he had said, he said, I know that my Redeemer lives and he shall stand at last on the earth. He knew that there was somebody that cares for him. He knew beyond everything that he may have been going through, there was somebody that was so concerned about his life. It will come to say, if someone dies, would they live again? All the days of my hard service, I will wait for my renewal to come. He began to realize that there is something to wait for. He began to receive strength. Though he knew he was accused, he knew there was something standing against him. He knew there was a claim against his blessing. But at that point, he began to tell himself the truth about God, saying, I know that he loves me. I know he cares for me. I know he will do everything to turn my story around. Give me the grace to wait. I know I've not seen what I was expecting from my God, but I know I will definitely receive it. I know all the things I have done may have stood against me, but I know he loves me so much and has forgiven me. I know every of my wrongdoings that may be standing against me, I know every one of them have been taken away because of the mercy of the Father. Oh, dear child of God, what this thing does is to humiliate your accuser. At that point in time, it is what the psalmist said in Psalm 109 verse 20. My accusers will be covered with shame and draped in humiliation, as if it were a robe. At the time you're saying, I know that my God lives. I know he cares for me. I know everything he has for me are plans of good and not plans of evil. I know he thinks about me every moment in time. I know he wants everything to work for me. At this point, your accuser is covered in shame. At this point, you are discomfiting your accuser. At this point, your accuser will be humiliated. And what will happen is they will be defeated. Your accuser will be defeated. Like the psalmist said in Psalm 71 verse 13, may my accusers be humiliated and defeated. When you start saying these words to God, dear child of God, you are humiliating your accuser. Everything that is now supposed to stop you from receiving what is yours will start vanishing, will start going away. In shame, they will start walking away, just like they walked away from that woman in John chapter 8 verse 10. And then she will look up, Jesus will say, woman, where are those that accuse us? Had no man condemned thee? Everything the devil was using to condemn you, you will discover it will flee off your mind. You will discover those grips will be off you, because you now have the authority. You now have the power to receive what is yours. And that time you are taking the upper hand. And that moment you are having the victories to receive what is yours. That is the moment you begin to hear the voice of the Lord, that he will bless you. That is the moment you begin to hear the voice of the Lord giving you direction on how your blessings will come. That is the moment you will discover scriptures will be coming alive of God's promises, of God's blessings, of everything he had made available to you, and giving you the assurance that you will receive it. That is the moment the heavens open. Oh, as found in Revelation chapter 12 verse 10. Then I heard a loud voice in heaven say, now the salvation, the power, the kingdom of our God, and the authority of his Messiah have come. For the one who accuses our brothers, who accuses them day and night in the presence. My God, you will begin to see the power of God come very clear to discomfit everything the enemy has used against you, then you know that your accuser has been brought down. You know your accuser has been humiliated, and then you start seeing God bring peace into your heart, and everything you have petitioned Him for, you will start receiving them. This happens most of the time when you go to the place of prayer, but I want to assure you that you have the victory. Job chapter 31 verse 35. If only I had someone to hear me. Here is my signature. Let the Almighty answer me. If only I had an indictment that my accuser had written, my God. He said, if only I had an indictment that my accuser had written. Beloved, there is something you must know and you must realize today, that the devil uses to stop you from receiving that is yours, to stop you from receiving that the Lord had made available to you. What the devil does is to accuse you. What the devil does is to bring a claim against you before God. And that is why you will find out many times when you go to the place of prayer, a lot of things are going through your mind. The devil will come into your mind and accuse God before you. He will accuse you before yourself, and then he will accuse you before God. And this was the experience that Job was facing. He would lament and he would cry, if only he had the indictment that his accuser had written. Remember in Job chapter 1 verse 6, when the sons of God gathered, Satan came and from that moment brought an accusation, began to tell the Lord he's not worthy to receive all of this blessing because God was proud of him. I want you to know that God is proud of you. But what the devil will do when you go to God is to start accusing you. Do you remember those times when you were in the place of prayer and you begin to feel that God was unfair to you? That moment when you were in the prayer place and it started coming to your mind that God have not done you well. Do you remember that time when you were in the place of prayer and everything that you could be thinking of was how God have been good to some people and has not remembered you? I want you to know that very time the devil is accusing God before you. The devil is making you feel that God doesn't love you. The devil is making you feel that God is a very partial God. The devil is making you feel that God is unfair. The devil is making you feel that God is unjust. And you need to start realizing what to do. You need to know how to take your place and still receive what is yours. Job will lament and say, if I had an indictment that my accuser had written, if I knew what had transpired, if I knew what had brought me to this state that is making me feel unloved by God. He was saying, if I knew all the things that the accuser of the brethren has brought forth against me, if I knew those claims, I would know what to do. Do you remember those times you were in the place of prayer and you start feeling unworthy? You start feeling like you don't deserve the blessing of God. The devil start bringing all the errors you have done, making you know that this is the reason you have not received your blessing. I want you to know at that point that the devil is accusing you before yourself. He's bringing those things to mind that you were not proud of. He's bringing those things to mind that you would not want somebody else to know about it. And because he knows you have not done something about it, then he uses it to accuse you. So you feel unworthy. You feel you do not deserve the blessing of God. Dear child of God, this is why this message